after
me.
you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
we had none of those guys. That's what I was saying. Where were those guys that we was growing up? We had none of those. Huggy Bear, yeah, we had none of those guys.
wow. Okay, so I don't know why. I guess why I don't know why I thought those guys was your linemen.
No, sir. No,
Okay,
no, not even close.
wow. Okay, so now that gives me a whole. Okay, guys. So now we're gonna kill that rumor too in Orangeburg. Woody did not have that line. Like I don't know why. Because I guess because
Time
I'm
runs
far
together.
behind you.
That's what it is. The time, I mean, it goes by so quickly. You don't realize how much time has passed.
Yeah.
Because actually, because Jackie Robinson, he came out a year after me. He actually coached Barron and those guys. He coached those guys. So
Wow. Okay, so yes, somebody just put in the chat that was Murder Line, I think. Okay, so I did not know that. Okay, because actually Jackie Robinson was my coach for 1 year, and Coach Harper was big Coach Harper, the big brother. He was my coach for 1 year.
Dwayne,
Okay, so now the legend grows again. Woody, you just growing your legend more. So now I didn't know you were blocking. You was running with guys who were the same size you as offensive linemen.
yeah, but like
So
I
you're
said, those
doing
boys
that.
were scrappy. They held it down. I ain't gonna take nothing from them. They held it down. I mean, you can imagine a kid that's 5'8", 5'9", blocking 6'5", 6 foot. No, I'm sorry, 6'7". Richard Seymour. He played Little Richmond.
Yes, I
He
remember that.
played them every year, and they had to deal with him.
He was always a stud.
I mean, yeah, hey, shoot, New England Hall of Fame. He's in the
Yep.
Pro Football Hall of Fame. That's my guy. But I mean, they had to contend with him, and they held their ground. That's what I'm talking about. Those guys, they did their thing, man.
Wow. So I did not know that. Okay, so wow. Well, now this is my question. So how was you guys seasons that you guys had? Did you guys well back then we was the Big 16 then? Well, if you guys don't know, Woodrow Dantzler is a Bruin. He is the Bruin. I'm a Bruin, so it's gonna be a lot of Bruin love on here tonight on W
Mm-hmm.
Bruin. So y'all was the Big 16 then or not yet?
Yeah, it was Big 16. So we did make playoffs every year. But I mean, we had my junior level. Hold up, let me make sure I don't get in too much trouble. Let me back up. That was my senior year when we had that lineman. Because my
Okay.
junior year, we had some size, but we still weren't that big. That's when we
You
had
want big like the
Justin was
guys that
still
came
there.
after that.
Justin Dan and those crew, those guys were still there. Shelton Benjamin, not Shelton Benjamin, but he was at my freshman year. Shelton Sistrong, bless his
Yeah,
soul. Yeah, so
that
he,
that sure. That was my offensive line coach in 2005.
yeah, okay, good deal.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, he was my
Wow.
center.
Wow. Man, you're making me feel old now, because man, it's
I tell you,
so you actually played with Justin Danner. Justin Danner, was he
yes,
ahead of you?
yeah, he was a year ahead of me. He was 1 year ahead of me.
Okay, yeah, because Justin Danner was my
Him and Devron Harper.
yep.
Yeah, Devron was a year ahead of me. Yeah, he was a year ahead of me. Him, Pat Sharperson, all those guys were a year ahead of me.
Okay, so how does that feel? Because those guys are great. Everybody's great. All those guys you name are all great. If guys you don't know who he just named, you guys can look him up. Justin Danner, who just became shout out Coach Danner, um
Head
for a
coach.
reason Coach of the Year. Coach Danner became
Oh,
Coach of the
really?
Year at
Okay, I
New
didn't know that. I
Central.
need to check in on that.
Yep, Coach of the Year. You could look up Devron Harper, look him up. Shelton Benjamin, look him up. Well, Shelton Sistrong, that's my coach. Rest in peace. But those are all the good guys. So, how was those guys? You being a sophomore, you taking over. Did you earn those guys' respect by your play? How did that go?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I think I earned their respect actually during my freshman year because actually that was back when we actually went to Camp Daniels. So the coach took us away. We went out to this place. I don't know. It was like the middle of nowhere. So I was like probably the only freshman there, ninth
Okay.
grader that's out at Camp Daniels. And playing on scout team, you get to earn those guys respect. So they'll see
Yeah.
you can play a little bit. Honestly, I had to because one of the things that my dad taught me is if you're gonna do something, you better do it right. So just getting out there having fun, man. I think I garnered their respect then, and then when I finally got actually on varsity my sophomore year, I showed some things in practice, and then especially after that game, that fourth game, I was able to really solidify myself and give them my confidence. So,
Yeah.
yeah, man, that's one thing you have to do as a QB. You have to step into that role when it's time to go, and I was able to do that. And that's like, let's go.
Okay. So at what point you're doing your thing
Hey, Jazzy baby.
yeah, you see, hey, man, shout out to your niggas, man. They made sure everybody know. Yeah, man, I ain't lying. That Woody is their uncle.
Yes, those are my
Shout
babies.
out, Jack. Yeah.
My
So
babies.
at what point? I know it's hard to talk. It's kind of hard to think of yourself in third person at this point, but we're just talking about just because athletics. At what point do you start to become Woody and you start to get the attention of college scouts at the Division One AA Division One level? At what point do you start to get their attention?
That I am not exactly sure because that was one thing that Coach Brown didn't do. So one thing, recruiting wasn't on the magnitude and wasn't the level that it is right now. With the
Okay.
5-star rating and rivals and all these different things. These kids doing all kind of crazy stuff, announcing who they're gonna be with, and reporters reporting on these recruits. All kids in middle school getting all. It wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, recruiting was going on, but it wasn't to the magnitude it is now. And
Okay.
what Coach Brown did, he didn't, they would send those letters, the college would send interest letters, and it was simply questionnaires trying to get information. Coach Brown didn't give it to us until we got to our senior year. And that's when I realized, because again, I'm just kind of telling myself, I was a pretty naive kid. I didn't know or really care or even thought about going to college. Really, I knew probably an option, but it wasn't something that was on the forefront of my mind. It wasn't until my senior year when Coach Brown started giving me the letters, and then coaches started coming to the games and showing up at practice, and getting phone calls from reporters trying to get insight on what colleges that I'm interested in. It never really crossed my mind until then. So
Wow.
I was kind of oblivious to the entire process. Only school I really knew about was South Carolina State because it was right there in our backyard.
Wow. So before I continue, I want to make sure I put on here because I see EJ put it in. Shout out to Rudy. Rudy that got the barbershop to the bone barbershop. Rudy that cut hair.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure I say Crawford Street legend. You are a Crawford Street legend. Make sure I'll put out there. Rudy told
Yeah,
me he said,
I
"Hey,
saw that pop up earlier, Crawford Street, and I meant to say
yeah,
something then. I saw that pop. Yeah, yes, sir. That's where
yeah,
that's where I live.
yeah." Shout out EJ and shout out Rudy to the bone barbershop on
Yeah,
First South Carolina.
that's back in the day. We were real. We played tackle football in the street, concrete streets. That's and get slammed on the ground and wouldn't get hurt. Nowadays, shoot, kids around here,
Man,
the wind blow too hard, they done.
what it I hate to say it, but even I'm a generation under you, but they ain't built the same.
Mm-mm,
They
mm-mm.
ain't built the same. Okay, so Coach Brown, so what it's kind of hard for me to believe. So he went the senior year. So at no point, even your junior. So is that time is camps a real popular thing, or camps are not so popular back then, like the college camps?
Nah, it wasn't that big of a deal either. Camps wasn't like that. I went to maybe one camp, I think 2 years, my freshman year, my sophomore year. Coach Brown sent us to Florence to a guy, Jerry Nettles camp, quarterback camp.
Okay.
And that was it. You didn't go to all these college camp. I didn't, if they were in existence, I didn't know anything about them. So
Wow.
yeah, I think that's something that was new. That was that's a new recruiting tool that colleges
Okay.
use now. But nah, it wasn't to that magnitude. Like I said, if they were there, I didn't know anything about them. Only camp I went to was 2 years, Jerry Nelson. And after that, we just went to camp before the season. We had summer workouts. That was it.
Okay. Yeah, because Coach Brown was doing the summer workouts too. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So your senior year comes now. Coach Brown says, "Does he tell you right before the school starts, or he?" I was like, "Did she tell you that summer leading into your senior year?" Like, all right,
Yeah, I think it was like that summer
Woodrow.
leading in. He said, okay, and you kind of start going through the process. And that's another thing I loved about him. He didn't put it too much on football. He made sure we had our grades, so we knew what our GPA needed to be, how much we need to make on the SAT. He made sure we took the SAT, our sophomore and junior years to get a taste